All right, we're recording.
All right. Does it look like we've got the vast majority of people? Right, guys. Yeah, so we'll just get started there. Thank you for obviously taking the time to come along to the meeting. It's just going to be a quick meeting. I'll try and keep it as short as possible. So we just really want to give you an update on what we're thinking for the team for the winter and then going ahead into the spring. So looking for the winter, we're just going to split the group into two groups. So the thinking behind that really is just to try and have like 10 and 10 at each game. So rather than having 5, 6 subs at each game, we only have 2 or 3. So it just means that the majority of the players get a lot more time on the field. For the winter, it's not a hard split. It's not like a hard, this group's the A team and this group's the B team. It can be a little bit more flexible than that. So don't worry if you feel like your daughter is playing for red or playing for white. That's not like the A team and that this isn't the B team. It just, we need to split the groups and to keep it at like 10 and 10. We think that's the best way to do it, just to give everyone the most amount of game time. Looking towards the spring, we are going to be looking to do an A and a B team in the spring. So like I say, during the fall, obviously it wasn't ideal, but I think it worked pretty well. But towards the spring season, I think it's just going to be a lot easier to have the A and the B group. I think from what I've seen in the spring, I thought the team competed well, but I think what we want to try and do, again, more than just making A and B, is just trying to find the right level for each player. So we just want to find the right level for each player to develop. So if that means that some of the players playing in the B team in the second division, or if the top teams in the first division, we just want to make sure that your daughter, your players, they have the right environment where perhaps if it's just a little too physical, or the game's just a little too fast for them in the top league, they'll have the chance to develop and play a lot more minutes in the second division. So I'm sure you guys probably agree, you don't want to drive an hour and 10 minutes and perhaps your daughter only gets 10 minutes in the field or 5 minutes in the field. It's much better to have them play the whole 40 minutes or 60 minutes, whatever it's going to be, and just get more touches and get more game time. So I think hopefully, I feel like everyone's had a fair crack at the whip and we've had enough chance to see all the players and recognise who does need to be where. Again, it'll still be fluid. There'll be times where we have to obviously have some players play in both games. We're going to actively try and recruit some extra players. We usually do pick up 2, 3 players during the winter months. We might even look to have a sort of mid-season, winter season tryout to try and bolster numbers so we can have 2 full groups. But the way it's probably, if that doesn't happen right now, the way it's probably looking is, it's not, in my mind, it's not an even split. Like, we'll probably have more on the A team than we do on the B, but then I'm sure there's a lot of players that will be happy to play both games. We'll just have to make sure we manage it. It should be a lot easier as well. Me not doing the high school and stuff during the spring, it'll be a lot easier to manage the game times and find games where there's a lot less crossover, and there should be a lot more space and time to make sure that players that do want to play in the both games can get the opportunity to play in the both games. But it's just going to be easier for players that are playing in the top division to sort of drop and help the second team than have the other girls move up and maybe struggle a little more. So like I say, that's the plan for the spring. And going ahead into the spring, obviously next year, the team's going to be 11v11. So even though we do have the A and the B in the spring, the girls that are playing on the B team or playing in that second division or whatever it might be, they'll have the opportunity to rejoin the group. Ideally, we'd like to have this whole group just be our 11v11 team, because obviously we'll look to take maybe 18, 17, 18, whatever it's going to be for the 11v11. That might not be the case. With tryouts and stuff, we might get some new players in. Some players might leave. Obviously, there's usually a little bit of turnover year to year. But yeah, I wouldn't be concerned. We see a lot of development over especially the winter season. It's usually the time we see a lot of development in the players, because it's like the longest season, really. So getting those touches indoors, playing in the small-sided games, I think we're quite lucky, because there's a lot of clubs that don't really have the opportunity to practice and play games as much as we do over the winter. So it is a chance for the players that put the work in and put the effort in, it is a chance for them to improve and really get better over the next 3-4 months. And like we say, once we're in the spring, we have the A and B. The girls on the B team, they'll have like the first crack of the whip to try and be part of the team in the 11v11. But so even though it's A and B, it's not like it's not like the end of the world. Like, I played in B teams when I was younger. The girls are still young. There's chances for them to develop and go quickly. And we're even seeing it with the 2019 that like me and Dave have. There's girls that were looking to move up and down and stuff. So it'll still be fluid, and there'll still be opportunities for girls that are playing on the B team to join the A group and move up and hopefully go ahead and be on the team going in 11v11. But that's what we're thinking right now. Like I say, the winter we'll have the 2 groups, and they'll still be, even this weekend, we'll try and be flexible. So if you can't, for example, make the 2 o'clock kickoff and you want to try and join the 3 o'clock game, that can happen. But ideally, we want to try and keep the numbers on both groups as low as possible, so everyone gets as much game time. So what we might look to do, for example, if Vivian can't make the 2 o'clock game, we'll look to swap her with someone else. So rather than just bring extra players to the second game, we could say, right, whoever it's going to be, can you swap with Vivian so you can come to the 1 o'clock and Vivian go to 2, etc., etc. So that way we try and keep the numbers as low as possible, so everyone gets as much time on the field as we can. So hopefully that makes a lot more sense to you now, and that sort of brings you back into the loop a little bit. I'll try and get a lot more communication out during the winter months and just give little updates and stuff. It'll be a lot easier. I'm a lot less busy over the winter than I was in the fall. So I think the team's doing well. Hopefully you guys can see the sort of philosophy we have for the team. We're trying to build out, we're trying to play good soccer. And more important than even the results over the winters, we want the girls to try and pass, move, be comfortable receiving the ball, back to pressure, and to want the ball. And so we're going to try and continue to play that way. Obviously, starting from Sabrina and Carla, whoever's playing the goal, we'll try and play short and make sure everyone gets the opportunity to check in and receive the ball under pressure and just try and develop and improve as players. Obviously, we want to win, and I'm competitive as well, and it's nice to win games, but we're going to look to try and just pass the ball out and make sure everyone can work on their first touch and work on checking in and work on receiving the ball back to pressure and opening up and trying to play nice soccer. And I think we've seen a lot of that on Saturday, and hopefully we'll continue to improve and get better as the winter months go on. But yeah, so that's really all I have to say on it right now. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm going to get the evaluations out to everyone soon as well. What I'd also like to do is have individual conversations with parents as well. So if you'd like to have that conversation sooner rather than later, I'm more than happy to do it. Hopefully everyone has my cell number by now. I can email out again. And again, you can phone me anytime, really. I'm very open usually during the days. So if anyone would like to have a phone call, I'm more than happy to call and just discuss whatever you think it might be, what your daughter can improve at, what she's done well, things that we can work on, and everything along those lines. So if anyone would like to have that conversation, again, like first or sooner, then feel free to just email me or call me anytime and we can have that conversation. But I'll work my way around as evaluations go out, and I think it's good to have those conversations either face to face in Chelsea Piers or over the phone or whatever you guys feel is best. But yeah, so that's all from me really. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask now. Or
yeah,
I think we're good.
Can I ask a question? So am I understanding correctly that you'll be coaching both teams in the spring, at least for this year? Is that right?
Yeah, so we're still going to practice together as a group. Like I say, we usually do pick up 1, 2, or 3 players. If we do somehow, which I don't think will happen, but if we get like 8, 9 players in, and it becomes 2 separate groups and it becomes just a little bit too big for me to manage by myself, we'll probably look to split it then a little easier. But yeah, the plan for me now is, like I say, we're doing high school and stuff. It should be a lot easier for me to make every single game, and it'd be a lot easier for us to schedule the games where I can make both games. So yeah, that's the plan, is for me to coach both groups.
Okay, and then for next year, you're assuming that, unless we get a big influx of new girls, it would be one team that you would coach. Is that correct?
Yeah, for the spring. Well, do you mean after the spring season?
Next fall.
Yeah, next fall. Again, ideally we want to have two teams, but again, it's just going to depend on tryouts. It's going to depend on numbers.
Okay.
I guess, yeah, for 11v11, we want to probably have a roster about 18, 17, 18 along those lines. So again, in my mind, I'd love it to be all the girls that are on the team now. And if we can get everyone to a level where we feel like they can compete in that division we're going to be in, then I'd love that to be everyone that's here right now. But obviously, we've got a lot of hard work to do, and if I'd like that to happen. Again, there might be some players. We usually see a little bit of turnover. We might get one or two players in, one or two might leave. But ideally, if we can, we'd like to have everyone here, and as long as we can, like we say, we feel they can compete at that level.
Okay, yeah, I've just been really happy with your coaching, Darren, and the girls' development under you. So, obviously, for me personally, that would be a big factor going forward, is the quality of coaching and hoping it would be consistent with the level that you bring to it. I've just been very happy with that.
Well, I appreciate that. It's nice to hear. Thank you. Any more questions? Okay. Yeah. So for this week, I'll send out the groups again for the coming weekend. Like I say, we'll split the groups, and it'll probably stay majority of the time the same. But like I say, it can be flexible, and just because you're playing for a certain group, it's not A and B right now. But like I say, we are looking towards that for the spring. So there'll be movement, and there'll be groups. And like I say, I can have conversations with individual people, and we can, if you have any concerns, I'll be happy to answer them then. But yeah, it's not a hard line A and B right now. We're still obviously all going to practice together and like be the one big group. I feel like the girls all get on really well, and they've been working very, very hard at practice. So the last thing we want is like a divide or anything in the group right now. I think that they're doing really well, and we just want to aim to improve and work hard for the winter. And like I say, try and make everyone get much better over these next few months, and then we can look towards the spring season. But yeah, so appreciate everyone's time. Like I say, if anyone doesn't feel comfortable asking questions in this setting, feel free to give me a call or an email, and I can elaborate on any points or anything you guys, any questions you have. Sound good?
Thank you.
Thanks, Darren.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Thanks,
All
Darren.
right. Thank you so much.
Thanks.